Hello all, welcome to our channel. All right, lads and lasses, let's talk about something we all do but don't always notice. Body language. It's the silent symphony we conduct every day, whether we realize it or not. From a subtle eyebrow raise to a confident stance, our bodies constantly send signals. It's like having a conversation without saying a word. Think about it. You can often tell if someone's happy, sad, or even lying just by looking at them. That's body language in action. So buckle up as we dive into the fascinating world of nonverbal communication. We'll uncover the hidden meanings behind everyday gestures, learn how to read people like books, and discover how to use body language to our advantage. Now, you might be thinking, why should I care about body language? Well, my friend, here's the thing. It's more important than you might think. In fact, studies have shown that a whopping 55% of communication is nonverbal. That's right, over half of what we communicate comes from our body language, not our words. So if you're not paying attention to it, you're missing out on a huge chunk of the conversation. Whether you're at work, in a relationship, or just chatting with mates down the pub, being able to read and understand body language is crucial. It helps us build stronger connections, avoid misunderstandings, and even get ahead in life. Think of body language as a secret code. Once you learn to crack it, you'll unlock a whole new level of understanding about the people around you. You'll be able to tell when someone's genuinely interested, when they're feeling uncomfortable, or even when they're trying to pull a fast one. Dr. Emily, the media, understanding personal body language signals. But it's not just about reading other people. Mastering body language is also about understanding how you come across to others. By being aware of our own nonverbal cues, we can project confidence, build trust, and communicate more effectively. In this journey into the world of body language, we'll explore everything from the science behind it to practical tips you can use in your everyday life. We'll delve into the fascinating world of micro-expressions, those fleeting facial movements that reveal our true emotions. We'll learn how to use power poses to boost our confidence and make a killer first impression. And we'll discover how to spot liars and manipulators just by paying attention to their nonverbal cues. So get ready to unlock the secrets of nonverbal communication and become a master of body language. Right then, let's get down to brass tacks and talk about why we use body language in the first place. You see, it's not just some fancy modern invention. Oh no, body language is as old as time itself. It's deeply rooted in our biology, going back to our cavemen ancestors. Back in the day when our biggest worry was being chased by a woolly mammoth, survival depended on understanding non-verbal cues. A furrowed brow could signal danger, while a smile meant safety. These instinctive reactions are still hardwired into our brains today. Even though we're not facing down prehistoric beasts anymore, these ancient instincts still shape how we communicate. Think about it. When you meet someone for the first time, you don't need them to tell you they're friendly before you feel at ease. Their smile, their open posture, these non-verbal cues speak volumes. Now, let's add a bit of scientific sauce to the mix, shall we? Over the years, clever clog psychologists have come up with all sorts of theories about why body language is so crucial. One of the most famous is the leakage hypothesis. Catchy name, eh? Basically, it says that our true emotions are like a leaky faucet. No matter how hard we try to hide them, they'll always drip out through our body language. We might be able to control our words, but our bodies often betray our true feelings.
Another fascinating theory is called social contagion. This one's all about how our body language can actually influence the emotions of those around us. It's like a yawn, but for feelings.
Right, now that we've got the sciencey bit out of the way, let's talk about how our brains actually process body language. You see, it's all a bit like a complex computer program running in the background. When we see someone's facial expression or a shift in their posture, our brain goes into overdrive.
There's a special part of our brain called the amygdala, which is like the emotional control center. It's responsible for processing threats and rewards, and it's incredibly sensitive to body language. So, if someone gives you a dirty look, your amygdala will pick up on it instantly, even if you're not consciously aware of it.
But it's not just the amygdala that gets involved. Our brains are constantly cross-referencing what we see with what we hear and what we know about the person we're interacting with. It's a real team effort, this body language decoding business. Now, one of the most intriguing aspects of body language is its ability to reveal deception.
That's right. Our bodies often give us away when we're telling porkies. But how can you tell if someone's being economical with the truth just by looking at them?
Well, there are a few telltale signs to watch out for. Liars often touch their face more, avoid eye contact, and their body language might seem stiff or unnatural. They might also try to distance themselves physically by leaning back or crossing their arms.
However, it's important to remember that context is key when it comes to spotting deception. Just because someone touches their face doesn't automatically mean they're lying. It could just be a nervous habit. The trick is to look for clusters of behaviors that seem out of place.
Now let's talk about the most expressive part of our bodies, our faces.
You see, our faces are like billboards, broadcasting our emotions to the world. And just like billboards, they come in all shapes and sizes, each with its own unique message.
Think about it. A smile can brighten someone's day, while a frown can make them feel like they've done something wrong. And then there's the eyebrow raise, the knowing smirk, the furrowed brow, each expression conveying a subtle nuance of emotion.
But here's the kicker. Facial expressions aren't just something we consciously control. Oh no, they're often involuntary, revealing our true feelings even when we're trying our hardest to hide them. That's why they're such a powerful tool for understanding what someone's really thinking.
Now, if our faces are billboards, then our eyes are the flashing neon signs. They're incredibly expressive, revealing everything from attraction to boredom to outright deception.
They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and they're not wrong. Think about it. When you're interested in someone, your pupils dilate, making your eyes look bigger and brighter.
On the other hand, when you're bored or disinterested, your eyes might glaze over, and you might find yourself looking for the nearest exit.
And then there's eye contact, or lack thereof. Making eye contact shows that you're engaged and listening, while avoiding eye contact can signal nervousness, shyness, or even dishonesty. It's a delicate dance, this eye contact business, but it's crucial for building trust and rapport.
Right, let's move on to those busybodies we call our hands. Dr. Emily, our hands are like little communication machines, constantly gesturing, fiddling, and emphasizing our words. In fact, some experts believe that humans used hand gestures to communicate long before we ever uttered a word. Think about it. A wave hello, a thumbs up, a pointed finger. These gestures are universally understood, transcending language barriers. But hand gestures can also be subtle and nuanced, revealing our underlying emotions and intentions. Dr. Emily, for example, someone who's feeling nervous might fidget with their hands or touch their face more frequently. On the other hand, someone who's confident and in control might use broad, sweeping gestures to emphasize their points. It's all about paying attention to the subtle cues our hands are giving away. Let's talk about posture, shall we, Dr. Emily? Our stance and gait send a message. Think of it like a neon sign broadcasting our mood and confidence. Confident people stand straight, shoulders back, head high, taking up space. Dr. Emily, insecure people slouch, shoulders hunched, avoiding eye contact. Posture can influence how we feel. Power poses boost confidence. Dr. Emily, feeling low? Strike a pose. Your body might trick your brain into confidence. Now let's talk about something a bit more personal, space. Dr. Emily, you see, we humans are funny creatures. We all have this invisible bubble around us, our personal space. And we don't like it when people invade that space without permission. The size of our personal bubble varies depending on our culture, our relationship with the person, and the situation. But generally speaking, the closer we are to someone, the smaller the bubble. Dr. Emily, we're comfortable with loved ones being up close and personal, but we might get a bit twitchy if a stranger gets too close for our liking. And it's not just about physical distance, it's also about angles and orientation. Standing face to face can feel confrontational, while standing side by side can feel more collaborative. It's all about finding the right distance and angle to make the other person feel comfortable.
Now, let's talk about the sounds we make. even when we're not actually saying any words. Paralinguistic cues, they call it. The tone of our voice, our pitch, our volume, our pace. Even those little ums and ahs we throw in for good measure. You see, our voice is like a musical instrument, capable of conveying a whole range of emotions. We can speak softly and gently when we want to comfort someone, or raise our voices when we're angry or excited. And let's not forget about sarcasm, where our tone of voice completely changes the meaning of our words.
Paying attention to these paralinguistic cues can give us a deeper understanding of the emotions behind the words. Someone might say they're fine, but their trembling voice and hesitant tone tell a different story. It's all about listening with our ears and our gut.
And finally, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in discussions about body language appearance. Now, I'm not talking about being a fashion icon or anything like that. I'm talking about how the way we present ourselves, our clothing choices, our grooming habits, it all sends a message, whether we realize it or not. Think about it. We dress differently for different occasions, right? We wouldn't wear a suit to the pub or a tracksuit to a job interview. Well, most of us wouldn't. Our clothing choices reflect our personality, our profession, our social status, and even our mood.
But it's not just about clothes. It's about the whole package. Our hairstyle, our accessories, our overall hygiene. When we make an effort with our appearance, it shows that we care about ourselves and how we're perceived by others. And that can go a long way in making a positive first impression.
Right, let's dive into the fascinating world of micro-expressions. These fleeting facial expressions last for a fraction of a second, but they can reveal a wealth of information about someone's true emotions. You see, while we can train ourselves to control our words, and even our conscious body language, micro-expressions are like tiny leaks in our emotional armor. They happen so fast that most people don't even notice them. But if you know what to look for, they can be incredibly revealing. Think of it like this. Imagine someone's trying to hide their true feelings behind a mask.
Micro-expressions are like tiny cracks in that mask, giving us a glimpse of the real emotion underneath. A fleeting look of disgust, a flicker of fear, a split-second flash of anger. These micro-expressions can betray someone's true feelings, even if they're trying their hardest to hide them. Now let's get back to those chatty hands of ours. As we've already established, hand gestures can be incredibly expressive, but they can also be tricky to interpret as their meaning can vary depending on the context and the culture. Dr. Emily. One common gesture that often gets misinterpreted is crossed arms. Now, some people might say that crossed arms always mean someone's closed off or defensive, but that's not always the case. Sometimes people cross their arms simply because they're cold or comfortable. The key is to look at the whole picture, their facial expression, their posture, their overall demeanor. If someone's crossing their arms while also frowning and avoiding eye contact, then yeah, they might be feeling a bit defensive, but if they're smiling and engaged in the conversation, it's probably nothing to worry about. Now remember that giant neon sign above our heads we talked about earlier, our posture? Well, it's not just about confidence levels, it can also reveal a lot about our emotional state. Dr. Emily, you see, our bodies tend to mirror our emotions. When we're feeling happy and relaxed, our posture reflects that we stand up straight, shoulders back, open and approachable. But when we're feeling stressed, anxious, or down in the dumps, our posture changes too. We might slouch, shoulders hunched, as if we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. So if you want to get a read on someone's true feelings, pay attention to their posture. Are they leaning in, engaged in the conversation? Or are they leaning back, trying to create distance? Are their movements fluid and relaxed, or are they stiff and restricted? Our bodies often speak volumes, even when our words are silent. Section 4 context is king reading between the lines. Body language isn't an exact science. You can't just memorize gestures to read people. Context is king. The same gesture can mean different things based on the situation. A touch on the arm could be affection, comfort, or a power play. Pay attention to the bigger picture words, tone, and vibe. Body language is like puzzle pieces. Each gesture is a clue. Put all the pieces together for the full picture. Trust your gut, and remember, context is everything.
Power posing. Fake it till you make it, lad. Power posing can make a real difference in how confident you feel. Our bodies and minds are more connected than you think. The way we hold ourselves influences our hormones and brain chemistry.
Standing in power poses like Wonder Woman or Superman can increase testosterone and decrease cortisol levels.
This means feeling more confident and less stressed.
Before a big presentation or job interview, strike a power pose. Your body language can trick your mind into feeling confident.
Right. Now that we've got the inside sorted, let's talk about the outside, how we present ourselves to the world. You see, confidence isn't just about feeling good on the inside, it's also about looking the part. Think of it like this. It's all about the packaging.
First impressions matter, and people make judgments about us based on our body language within seconds of meeting us. So if you want to project confidence, you need to send out the right signals from the get-go.
Stand up straight, shoulders back, chin up. Make eye contact, smile, and greet people with a firm handshake. Avoid fidgeting, hunching over, or hiding away in the corner. Remember, you deserve to take up space. Own your presence, and others will naturally gravitate towards your confidence. Now let's talk about something that might sound a bit counterintuitive. Smiling your way to confidence. You see, just like power posing can trick our minds into feeling more confident, smiling can actually reduce stress and anxiety. It sounds daft, but it's true.
When we smile, our brains release endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that make us feel happier and more relaxed. And the best part is, it doesn't even have to be a genuine smile at first. Even a fake smile can do the trick.
So, next time you're feeling a bit anxious, try forcing a smile. Hold it for a few seconds and see if you don't start to feel a bit more at ease. It's like magic. Your facial muscles are sending signals to your brain saying, "Hey, everything's all right, we can relax now."
Now, let's talk about something crucial for effective communication, aligning our verbal and non-verbal messages.
You see, it's like trying to bake a cake, folks. You can have all the right ingredients, but if you don't mix them properly, you'll end up with a right mess. It's the same with communication. If our words say one thing, but our body language screams something completely different, people are going to be confused.
They might not even realize it consciously, but they'll pick up on that incongruence, and it'll create a sense of distrust.
So how do we make sure our words and our bodies are singing from the same hymn sheet? It's all about being mindful, being present in the moment. Pay attention to what your body's doing while you're talking. Are you making eye contact? Are you smiling? Are your gestures open and inviting, or are you closed off and defensive?
Now, being a good communicator isn't just about talking a good game. It's also about being a good listener. And you know what? Body language plays a huge role in active listening.
You see, when we're truly engaged in what someone's saying, our bodies naturally respond. We make eye contact, we nod our heads, we lean in, we tilt our heads to the side, showing that we're following along. We might even mirror the other person's body language subconsciously, a sign that we're on the same wavelength.
On the other hand, when we're distracted or disinterested, our body language gives us away. We might glance at our phones, fidget with our hands, avoid eye contact, or even yawn. These nonverbal cues tell the other person that we'd rather be somewhere else, and it can be incredibly hurtful. Now let's talk about building rapport and trust, something that's crucial in all aspects of life, from personal relationships to professional settings. And you know what? Body language can be our secret weapon in building strong connections with others.
Think about it. When you meet someone for the first time, how do you know if you can trust them? It's not like they're wearing a sign that says trustworthy individual right here. No, we rely on those subtle cues, those non-verbal signals that tell us whether someone's genuine or full of it.
We've talked about the importance of eye contact, open posture, and a genuine smile. But there's more to it than that. Mirroring is another powerful technique for building rapport. It's about subtly matching the other person's body language, their tone of voice, even their breathing. It creates a sense of harmony, of being in sync, and it can make the other person feel more comfortable and at ease.
Section 4. Mind your mate's cultural differences in body language. Now, before we wrap things up, let's talk about something really important: cultural differences in body language.
You see, what might be considered polite and respectful in one culture could be seen as rude or even offensive in another. For example, in some cultures it's considered rude to make direct eye contact with someone older than you or in a position of authority. In other cultures, a firm handshake is expected, while in others a gentle bow is the norm.
So, if you're ever in doubt, it's always best to err on the side of caution. Observe how people are interacting with each other and try to mirror their behavior. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Most people are happy to explain the customs and traditions of their culture. Section 1. The body never lies. Well, lads and lasses, we've covered a right lot of ground, haven't we? From the science behind those sneaky micro-expressions to the art of power posing like a superhero, we've delved deep into the fascinating world of body language.
Remember, it's not just about reading other people like books, although that's a handy skill to have, no doubt. It's about understanding the subtle cues our own bodies are constantly giving off and using that knowledge to communicate more effectively, boost our confidence, and build stronger relationships. Think of it like this. Your body is like a finely tuned instrument, capable of conveying a whole symphony of emotions, thoughts, and intentions.
But just like any instrument, it takes practice to master. You wouldn't expect to pick up a violin for the first time and play like a virtuoso, would you? It takes time, patience, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. Remember that old saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step? Well, it's true for body language too. You don't have to become an expert overnight. Start small. Pay attention to your own body language. Are you slouching? Are you making eye contact? Are your gestures open and inviting?
Once you're more aware of your own non-verbal cues, you can start to make small changes, gradually improving your communication skills. And don't be afraid to observe others. Watch how people interact with each other. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice, their overall demeanor. You can learn a lot just by being observant, by becoming a student of human behavior.
Section 3. Go forth and communicate. The most important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep communicating. Body language is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. Use your newfound knowledge wisely, my friends. Use it to build bridges, to connect with others, to create a more understanding and compassionate world.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Connecting with our fellow human beings, building meaningful relationships, and making the world a little bit brighter, one gesture at a time.
So go forth and communicate with confidence, knowing that you have the power to make a difference with every interaction. And remember, the body never lies. So make sure yours is telling the right story. If you like this video, please do not forget to share and like it and to subscribe our channel for more interesting and informative topics. Bye for now. Take care.